Glenophobia is the fear of dolls. More specifically, it is the phobia of human-like toys for children, mannequins, and ventriloquist dummies. The phobia can also transfer to other human-like models, such as wax figures. Dolls are uncanny. They resemble people in an unaging, unmoving ways, especially in the eyes. Those unblinking orbs can strike discomfort or fear into the most hardened of hearts. Then, of course, there are the dolls that are haunted. Come with us tonight as we discuss what makes dolls scary and the dogs, or dolls, in other words, that conjured up some haunted hotspots. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Hometown Haunts podcast. I'm your co-host, Kat Kloko, and along with me onto the ride into the unknown are Jen Kohler and Christina Wald.
Hello.
Yay.
For those who are just tuning in, we are three creatives that like the strange and spooky world around us and like to feature random haunted stories from around the world that we find, and also stories that are submitted by our listeners for us to read on air. So, it has been an interesting week. How is everyone doing?
Good.
You know.
I hear it's snowing.
Yes.
It was beautiful. And there's the Aurora Borealis tonight, which people have been posting all these pictures of, and I ran outside and didn't see anything and was really bummed.
There was someone in Canada that took a photo where they're up really far north, I think in the Yukon, and the aurora is so strong, it made everything green.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, wow.
And guess what it's like here in Seattle right now?
Raining.
Yes. So, yeah, it's just like, wow, these are great photos. We'll never, ever see it. Like,
Did you look at the sky through your camera or through your phone?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I should have, because I didn't see anything. I was just out there, and somebody had just posted a picture from Fairfield, and it looked amazing. And somebody else had just posted a picture from Mount Adams.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, well, surely between those two, I should be able to see something.
Yeah,
And I
really.
didn't, but maybe I needed to use my phone.
yeah, use your phone. You're low enough, I think was it the latitude, that you're going to need your phone to see a lot of it, especially in the city area, just because of light pollution. We have to use our phones if we want to see it. Like, what was it, last year back in May when we had the really strong electromagnetic field? Oh wow, our KP index right now is 8.67, so that's pretty high for this location. I have an Aurora map app on my phone.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And it will send me information of where the strongest area is and approximately what time. So usually later at night between 11 to about 3 a.m. is when you're going to get the strongest aurora.
Oh, so I might be able to still see it when I
Yeah.
get out.
I just Googled it. It said between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Mhm.
here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I'll have to, after we record, I'll have to go
Yeah,
look.
I will
You'll
too.
have to go take a picture, Jen.
Yeah, maybe I'll take my real camera out there instead of just my phone.
Yeah. Because you're still in the viewable range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem
been
is my
doing pictures.
neighborhood has lights all over. It's not as dark as like my old neighborhood was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're also not that far away from cornfields, though. If you want to
No,
risk it, you
that's
just
very
go
true.
out there and take a photo.
Yeah. It's cold out there though. It's cold.
I can't help you with that. But yeah, neat event happening right now.
Yeah.
The only news I have right now is I'm still working on comics and I'm teaching comics.
Yay.
And my students are very creative and I love them.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. They put up with my real stupid jokes, so
They probably
Aw.
find them funny.
I don't know about that. But I don't know what it is, but last week the theme of the class was drawing bald men in weird situations.
Oh my god, I love that
So
prompt. I
it
would
was
do it for October if they had prompts like
yeah.
that.
So our focus was on writing for comics, and the kids we broke down basically different things that we need to think about for our characters and the situation and the world they're in, and we also went through a story wheel or uh was it the Dan Harmon's story? Yeah, the story
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
And we broke down K-pop Demon Hunters
Oh,
with
cool.
the story circle, and
That's awesome.
I love the movie. This is no shade to it. They're all brilliant. It is the most predictable story once you break it down with the story circle, what's going to happen when you with just the A plot with the Huntrix girls. And it was real funny because the kids were all they really love K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's the joy on their faces as they realized how just predictable of a story it was. And there was one kid, one of the older kids in the class goes, "I'm never going to watch a movie the same way again."
Yeah,
No.
it
Thanks to his
kind
cat.
of ruins it for you.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
like
"I'm
the
sorry."
editing a movie does the same thing. I
Yeah.
had a friend of mine who would teach editing, film editing, I think at Xavier. Can't remember. And the first thing he would say on the first day of class, he goes, "I'm going to ruin movie watching for you forever."
Yeah.
or something
I
along those
should have
lines.
put that little caveat, but Mike pointed out I should do Star Wars instead, so I stopped ruining new media for people.
Well, it's a formula though.
It
Once
is
you
a
know the
formula. It's the
formula,
hero's tale.
yeah.
And they had fun doing it, and
Yeah.
they were all about like, what about the Saja boys? Where do they fit in this? And I'm like, the Saja boys are a B plot. And they're like, what's a B plot? And I'm like, oh, we're getting into complicated script writing now.
It's a
That's where
secondary plot to the main plot, but
They
it's
can handle
in
it.
with the main plot.
some of them could. Like my age range is 8 to 12. The 11 and 12-year-olds were fine. The younger kids were like, I'm starting to get confused. And I'm like, okay, we're going to move on. But we also did I have plot writing dice.
Oh,
And
cool.
we used those to make up the story, which is what included the bald man who always spilled his drinks. So it was really fun drawing basically an older Charlie Brown constantly losing his milkshakes. So that was my class. It was great.
I could use a set of those dice.
Yeah, they're fun.
Do you ever listen to speaking of Charlie Brown, do you ever listen to the podcast about Charlie Brown? A couple cartoonists have been doing a long-term podcast of breaking down,
I have not.
The genius of Charles Schultz. And I mean, Charlie Brown's head is practically an emoji. I mean, so.
What is this called? I am curious now.
I will find the name and we can put it in the show notes.
Okay.
I keep seeing promos for it on Blue Sky, but they've been doing it for a while. One of the cartoonists does a lot of YA graphic novels, and I met him at CXC a few years ago, and he does some really great books, and it's just a really interesting discussion about Peanuts ran for a long time and resonated with a lot of people, and possibly because
you don't know Peanuts?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me double
About
check.
the show. Let me find.
It still runs in
Let's
syndication,
see.
doesn't it?
Damien Holbrook?
Classic Peanuts.
Let's see.
Yes, it does. They still syndicate it. I believe it's a gem on King Features Syndicate, which is the big comic strip syndicate in newspapers. It's Melissa Minta and Damien Holbrook. Does that sound familiar?
I don't think it's them. There's more than one, but let me double check.
All right.
But while I'm looking it up, I guess. Oh, should I do my news first?
Yeah, do your news.
Okay. I mean, obviously, still openings for the trip to Morocco. I've got a bunch of people that are planning to go, so the spots will probably go pretty fast. We just had an information meeting on Sunday, and that's why I know all these sudden fun factoids about Morocco, is because you have to answer people's questions, and this is my first time going there, and I'm really excited about sketching there. And what other news? Other news will not. I have a show at the Art Academy right now of children's books and a panel discussion. When we're recording this, the panel discussion's Friday, but it won't run. Since this will air next week, it's not going to matter because the panel discussion will be over.
Wow.
But the show will still be up. The show will still be up. And actually,
That's
other
cool.
shows in Cincinnati, there's a Mad Magazine show opening at the Cincinnati Art Museum the 20th.
Oh, cool.
Oh, fun.
And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just got a lot of deadlines and stuff.
That reminds me, I do want to put a little call out for the comics camp applications are open.
Mhm.
Oh,
Which-
yes, I was looking at that today.
Yay, please apply if you can. I know you're busy. But if it's one of those weeks that you're not going anywhere, please consider coming to Juneau. I highly encourage it. So for those of you who are longtime listeners of this show, you know that every May I abscond off to Juneau, Alaska to harass the people. I say this in a loving way. I think they like me. Anyway, I go and I visit different elementary schools and talk about making comics. There is a mini comics convention that I table at and do workshops about creating weird creatures. And then after that, we go out for 4 days into the wilderness of Alaska to a camp and hang out and talk about things. So if you are associated with cartooning and comics in any way, you can be a writer, you can be an illustrator, you can be in Kidlit, you can apply for comics camp.
It looks really fun.
You can do
It
that at
does.
minicon.alaskarobotics.com, and you'll find all the links there.
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
also
it
put
looks really cool. I mean, maybe for, gosh, I would love to sometime. We'll have to see kind of how things play out. I technically have May open. I'll have to think about this because logistically, I don't know if
I
it's
mean,
possible or not.
if you come, you can always visit here first, and I can
Oh,
take you around East Seattle area,
Ooh.
and then we can just go out, fly out. It's a 2-hour flight from SeaTac.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
It's
That it's that close.
incredibly easy.
How expensive is it to fly from here to Seattle to you?
Depends on who you use to fly,
Yeah.
and what time of day, and what
Okay.
day of the week.
Okay.
So I remember a few years ago it was $500,
Okay.
but just
It
to fly.
varies very widely.
It does.
Put
Also,
a
when you
watch
book
on.
them,
Yeah, I mean, put a watch on it.
Mhm.
Like Google Flights lets you put a watch on an itinerary, and they'll
Mhm.
set to let you know when it goes up and down.
ask your
No.
brother-in-law.
That's true.
Oh,
Can he fly us?
Ah,
Do you
better.
have millions and millions of dollars to
No.
apply to his
But-
company?
Okay, so the podcast I was talking about, I saw the one you were just talking about. The podcast I was talking about was unpackingpeanuts.com.
Oh,
And-
I love that name.
And it has several cartoonists that work on it. And Jimmy Gownley is one of the people on it that talks about it. But it's
Okay.
got 4 hosts. And they're all cartoonists.
All
And
right.
That
it's a
sounds
really, I mean, obviously Peanuts has been a very influential comic, and I think the story about Charles Schultz's life's really interesting too. I don't know if they cover more about his design and how he did the comic and wrote it, or if they talk about his life too. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay. Will do. I always love more cartooning podcasts to listen to.
Yes, and I just put a link in our notes. So, You
I
should
had
get
a stuffed Snoopy I carried around with me when I was a kid to the
Aw.
point where he got decapitated.
Ooh.
Oh,
And
well,
Mom
that
had to
was
sew
dark.
his head back on a couple times. I still have him.
Oh, aw.
Yeah.
Decapitated
I mean, I always liked Peanuts a lot. My grandparents had a ton of comic, like they had a lot of Pogo, they had a lot of Peanuts, some Family Circle. But I have to confess, as a kid, and an aspiring crazy cat lady, I was a big Garfield fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved Garfield too.
But
Yeah.
I don't think Garfield has the sophistication perhaps of Peanuts.
No.
No.
Calvin
I
and
mean,
Hobbes is another.
it's interesting because if you watch the first book that it came out when I was a kid, the first Garfield book,
Mhm.
and his very first Garfield cartoons were very Cliben, the
Mm.
guy that did the Cliben cats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then
Oh
it kind
gosh,
of
yeah.
it looked very much like how Cliben drew cats, and then it sort of, I
It
mean,
morphed.
yeah. And I don't think Jim Davis has illustrated the comic strip for years.
Yeah.
His syndicate does.
Yeah.
I used to work for a company in Cincinnati that did a lot of licensed product like wind chimes and stuff. And one of the guys that was our creative director used to go up to Indiana. What's the name of that town in Indiana?
Muncie.
Yes,
Muncie.
and where they say home of James Dean and Garfield.
Yep. Paws Incorporated up
Really?
there.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he said it was always fun to visit those guys that drew Garfield.
Huh.
He
Yeah.
said they were pretty high. I don't know if they still are. I don't know if that's offending anyone. Maybe I should cut this out. But it's legal now, right?
It is
Not in
legal now.
Indiana.
It's not?
Nope.
Oh.
Okay, they weren't getting it. I'll cut this out.
Every other state around it is, but not in Indiana. Not yet.
Yeah, he said it was just a bunch of guys that worked for the syndicate that loved drawing Garfield, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
fun.
what I remember with Paws Incorporated. They have a huge, it almost looks like a warehouse, their
Mhm.
office building. It has a giant
yeah?
paw print on it.
Aw.
And Jim had an office there, probably still does. And then in addition to all of his assistants and the people that are responsible for marketing, and there's some warehousing and all that stuff.
Oh,
But I'm
wow.
also remembering what it looked like back around 25 years ago.
Mm.
So I can't really say what it's like now, but
Mhm.
it's always really interesting, the stark difference between Jim Davis and Garfield and how that was treated versus Bill Watterson and Calvin and
Oh
Hobbes.
yes,
Mm.
he
How he
hates.
absolutely did not sell any rights to
Mhm.
reproduce anything besides the comics.
Yeah.
And it's still, people will even my students read Calvin and Hobbes
Mhm.
and really
Mhm.
love it.
It really resonates with people.
Yeah, Cy has started reading Calvin and Hobbes.
I think
Mhm.
it's one of the best comics ever made, honestly.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you go to the Billy Ireland Museum, you can see a bunch of the originals.
Yes.
I think he's donated a lot of his collection, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he
has
donated everything, but there's a lot there.
a lot. Probably. Yeah. He probably kept a few that he was particularly proud of.
Hmm
Yeah.
But some people, I mean, he just was not into what he considered selling out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I suppose it's admirable. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, he's probably made enough money from Calvin and Hobbes, but what is it? But the speaking of making money from cartooning, Charles Schultz's widow donated millions to the Billy Ireland Museum.
Wow.
Aw. It's amazing.
Yeah, so she did get to keep some of her money. It's interesting because actually, Dr. Seuss was very anti selling out too. He did not want his stuff to be made into product or movies or anything.
Mhm.
Huh.
And I think one of the few things he approved was when they did The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. But he
Mm.
didn't. Apparently, after he died, the lawyer, his widow was who was convinced to sell the rights.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's why you have all these terrible movies that are based
Yeah.
on his books and stuff. He would not
Right.
have approved of it, but his family sold some families, I guess when they get these properties, sometimes they honor what the person wanted, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. The call of money can be very great.
Well,
Well, speaking of the call of money,
yes. Let's
though I don't want to leave you out, Jen, do you have any news?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
Everybody's just good.
Mm-hmm.
Jensen is spunky.
Yeah, he just called me
How's
as
his
you heard
foot?
me.
How's his foot?
It's getting better. He he started sitting on the table where I give him his medicine because I have a towel there to wrap him up like a little burrito.
Mm-hmm.
And the past couple times he let me do it without wrapping him.
Oh,
So maybe he's getting used to it. Maybe he's not. I don't know. But
sounds like he's getting used to it. So yay, wins.
yeah. And then he stays put and waits for his treats. So it's the problem grabbing him and getting him onto the table in the first place. Because he knows the routine of me getting up, going to the fridge to get the antibiotics. He knows what is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn it, Cat, you're too smart for your own good.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Just know.
Not you, Cat.
Ah.
CAT. Every time I say it now, I feel like I'm yelling at you. And it's not me yelling at you.
I know.
But yeah, he's been good. They've been good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Nothing much. I did open my Goblin story, by the way, Cat, and read
Yay!
it yesterday.
Yay, I'm glad.
So
exciting.
We have to think about it.
So let's talk scary dolls.
We're gonna talk scary dolls. So this entire episode was Christina's brainchild, I think, from the Spooktacular.
It was just because I'd seen the article, because it was part of the, I guess it's part of the Halloween stuff you see in October, because this came out the 17th, and I think it was in conjunction with some sort of Halloween event in Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
And so I said, oh, well, we should talk about this then.
Yeah. How familiar are either of you with haunted dolls?
I think we've talked about them before. We did an episode about some haunted dolls before, and I think we've talked about Annabelle before.
Yeah, Annabelle is kind of a mainstay in the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially since she's made famous by Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are mainstays in the paranormal field. So,
as a kid, I had a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah,
I have one still.
I sold my mom's. She had a pair, and I had to sell them in the estate sale. So somebody has that delightful pair.
Did they go for a good price? Is that something people collect?
Somebody got them. I mean, they went for an estate sale price, so I think they went for maybe $20. But I also don't know how original they were, or if they were just reproductions. So, anyway, so do you know about Annabelle?
Yes.
At all?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen
Unsolved
the movies and Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah.
I've seen it. My first experience was on Unsolved Mysteries. But okay, for any listeners who are not initiated with Annabelle, this is a quick summary of her character, mostly so we can cover the news later. So, besides Robert the Doll, Annabelle is hands down the most well-known haunted or possessed doll in the world. Unlike as depicted in the Conjuring movies, however, she is a Raggedy Ann doll that was possessed by an angry spirit, and for the better part of 50 years has been locked up in a glass case in Ed and Lorraine Warren's private paranormal collection in Connecticut. We have news, though, that expands upon that.
Yes.
Her history, though, according to the Warrens, the doll came to them from a 28-year-old student nurse from Hartford, Connecticut named Donna, sometime in the 1970s. Annabelle, as they called her, moved around Donna's apartment seemingly on her own. And I think at some point a knife was involved. According to a psychic medium that was called to investigate, that was not Lorraine, the doll was possessed by a spirit of a 6-year-old named Annabelle Higgins. The Warrens claimed that Annabelle was possessed by a demon and that it would inflict psychic slashes on those who disrespected it. Annabelle also caused a priest to run his car into a tree and stabbed a homicide detective. forcing him to retire early.
Sounds very
Annabelle,
Exorcist.
yeah. Annabelle's story was featured in the 1980 book The Demonologist, The Extraordinary Career of Ed and Lorraine Warren, written by Gerald Brittle. Their story was later adapted into the Conjuring franchise of movies. So there was also some extra news reports. In 2019, the Occult Museum closed due to zoning violations. And this occult museum, I use in the lightest of terms of museum. It was more like a collection. And it was in a utility barn behind the Warrens' private home.
Wow.
So it was a large collection of haunted and possessed items. Um, John Zaffis did a Haunted Collector series loosely based off of his, I believe, aunt and uncle's collection. So, in 2025, the Warrens estate promoted online reports that the doll had disappeared. Okay, and I'm making sure this is separate from your news item. And so they promoted online reports that the doll had disappeared as part of a viral marketing campaign for a tour called The Devils on the Run, showcasing items from the Warren's Occult Museum. The doll was never missing, said Tony Sepra, the director of New England Society for Psychic Research. We had taken the doll on a brief tour to several locations so paranormal enthusiasts could witness the real Annabelle. In July 2025, Devils on the Run tour organizer and host David Riviera died unexpectedly in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Riviera had been a lead promoter of the tour and produced videos of the doll on TikTok. So that is, for now at least, the most recent unexplained death around Annabelle. And he took lots of photos of her. So
she didn't like it.
She doesn't like it. I believe you're supposed, like Robert, I thought you had to ask permission to take photos of her. And this seems to be something with a lot of the haunted dolls that we're featuring tonight.
They don't like selfies.
They don't like selfies. They don't like being photographed.
So in the movie, what kind of doll did they use in The Conjuring? So
they made up a porcelain doll that ironically looks a lot like a different haunted doll, a mix between Mandy and Letta, who we'll talk about later, which are Mandy also has her own haunted horror movie, but we'll get to that in a minute. So it is this porcelain doll that looks like it was made in like the 1860s. And I've never seen the Conjuring movies. Sorry, everyone.
I've not seen them either.
They creep me out.
They creeped you. So did you see the Annabelle one then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was it?
It creeped me out, I guess, but I can't really remember much of it. But yeah, it was a haunted doll. She was very evil and attacked people.
Okay.
And
as they do.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot more drama involved in it than, the true stories tend to have.
Right.
And a lot more violence. But yeah, she was creepy. And the Conjuring movies have always creeped me out.
I mean,
the story in general. Huh?
Yeah. They're well directed.
Yeah. And to the point where me, an avid horror, scary story person, murdered all the way through, I won't watch them alone.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
There's something about demon possession that scares the ever living crap out of me that I just don't want to think about it.
Okay.
The Exorcist 2 scared the crap out of me. So.
Okay.
That must hit a deep fear in me. I don't know. But
apparently we have peeled away a layer of Jen to reveal that you're afraid of demons.
The way it was told or shown or whatever. I mean, because there's a lot of horror movies that don't scare me. Like none of the gory ones really scare me. They gross me out more than anything. But
yeah, they make me nauseous. So, Christina, do you want to read this bit from Louisville?
Yeah, I mean, so basically the Raggedy Ann doll that inspired The Conjuring, according to the article. And they also said that the doll is considered one of the most dangerous artifacts ever investigated, which is hilarious since it's a Raggedy Ann doll. And it says some people won't go near her, but if you're brave enough, she's coming to Scarefest in Lexington this weekend. And she's part of the Warrens Occult Museum Collection, a private collection of haunted and cursed items amassed by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. While the couple has since passed, the doll is still with New England's Paranormal Research Headquarters, which was founded in the 1950s. And let's see, in August, it was reported that comedian Matt Wright bought the Warrens' home and is now the guardian of the doll. The doll was part of the first Conjuring film, and at least 3 more movies came out that centered around the doll's story. And you could have actually seen her in the museum or at the Central Bank Center in Lexington last month, almost exactly a month ago. So, and actually the funny thing is the article says that photography is allowed in the museum. So, which is an interesting, museums always have different policies depending on what kind of works they're showing. But,
just ask permission first of Annabelle before you take a snap.
Yeah, just do that. Be safe. Ask permission. Don't get possessed.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Annabelle's always been an interesting doll. But what's always amazing is there's more than one haunted doll in the world right now. And they all do this.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
They said Jen's phone's on.
Sorry. I always forget to turn my alarms off.
Annabelle's calling. She's like, I want to be on this. I want to speak myself.
Oh, snap.
And actually, before we go on to the other dolls, wasn't there a doll when we were at the Benny Hoffman house in that little crib? Was that a haunted doll, or was
I don't think it was a haunted doll. It was just...
But there was a spirit. There was a kid there.
There is a kid there. So I know when I was doing a lot of active investigations or would go do group hunts, words tonight, when I would do a group hunt at somewhere like Pinehurst. Where am I tonight? Penhurst. Who am I? Why Gamora? Who's Gamora? Sorry. A lot of the Bell Nursing Home, RIP, the Road Hotel. A lot of these places would have where children's spirits liked to be. They would put dolls. And I remember when I was an avid listener, sorry, Dave, of Darkness Radio, they would actually give out haunted dolls they would find on eBay as
oh my gosh,
as gifts for callers that would call in and answer trivia or go to conventions and stuff.
Yeah, no, thank you. You can keep it.
Yeah. And then people would also send their haunted dolls to Dave and for the different shows and stuff. And I remember going to near the end of my my convention circuit days with the paranormal conventions, there were people actually outright selling haunted dolls at tables. And I'm like,
wow.
This is a lot of trapped souls if this is all to be believed. There's also the Island of the Dolls in Mexico City. And I would love to go there. There's also a ton of spiders. But
nothing scary about that.
Yeah, but it's absolutely nothing scary about a spider emerging from an empty eye socket of a doll's head. Nothing scary.
There was
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so
there was the big spider in the cat's litter box last week.
What did it look like? It was that big?
Well, with its legs.
Yeah, with its legs.
It might have been a wolf spider.
What color was it?
It was black.
Did it have racing stripes?
I don't know. I quickly covered it with kitty litter and walked away. Because I can't kill something that big. And then in the morning, it was gone. So.
Well, yeah. So my best guess is it's either a fishing spider or it was a wolf spider.
Yeah.
Wolf spiders have what we call racing stripes.
Okay.
So
I like wolf spiders. They're
I
very
love
pretty.
wolf spiders too.
Yeah.
If it was a wolf spider, doing the kitty litter thing did absolutely nothing to it. It
I
was
don't
like,
care. I couldn't
it,
kill it, and I
yeah.
didn't want to see where it went. If I don't see it, I'm good.
Did you know here in Seattle we have giant black house spiders?
Wow.
They are about at their biggest about this big with the diameter of their
That looks
legs.
bigger than a wolf spider.
And they have the most funky legs. They're very fast, but they do absolutely nothing to you besides scare the biscuits out of you. But yeah, we
I'm
had
never
one in
coming to visit now. No.
yeah, we had one in our bathroom and it just hung out there for 2 days. It did
Oh, that's
nothing.
so
It had
cool.
just eaten a big meal and it was in a stupor. And
Mm.
we just are like, well, it's there for a while. She's gonna hang out. We had one that had only 7 legs that I called Debbie. That lived
Debbie?
yeah, that lived behind my washing machine.
Yeah,
All right.
just as long as they don't jump on me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, they like to skitter though. So back to our haunted dolls. Now like 2 people are listening still. We're going to pass by Robert in Key West and go, hey there, Robert, the doll. We know you're very famous, probably
Yeah.
the most famous haunted doll. There are so many podcasts and TV shows and
Mhm.
books and episodes that are dedicated to Robert. I do not feel the need to highlight his story right now, other than you do need to have permission to take his photo.
Yeah, he creepy mofo.
He is very creepy,
Mhm.
and I think that just helps with
Yeah.
the environment. But instead, we're going to go to Australia and meet Letta the doll. Have you ever heard of Letta the doll?
I have not.
No,
Mm-mm.
Oh, I wish I had
it
put a
sounds real
photo.
creepy.
She is real creepy. So, she was a the story goes that she was found under the floorboards of an abandoned house in Wagga Wagga, Brisbane, Australia in 1972 by Kerry Walton and his brother. Letta is short for Letta Me Out and has been described as a living doll with human hair and likes to scream. Made out of
Wonderful.
Ugh.
I know. Made out of carved wood, she's thought to be around 200 years old, featuring a large head with huge eyes, a prominent nose, and a grin that is said to change expressions before witnesses' eyes. The house where Letta was discovered was known to be a haunted hotspot long before she was even found there. Now, Carrie, I believe, is from that town and knew the house was haunted before he went there. Growing up, it was just a renowned haunted spot, and he was just exploring the house and found her there. Said in one interview that he thought there was a dead body underneath the floorboard when he found her, which
How
is
big
like
is she?
um about 40 inches. A lot of these dolls are
Okay.
about 40 inches.
Okay.
A giant head, green dress. She looks like an evil Christmas elf.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's not named Letta because she would scream, "Letta me out" of the bag that Carrie had put her in when first discovered. And like many of the dolls, she has done the promotion circuit before for TV, and you can find photos of her online. She likes to sit in a little white chair.
Proper.
Yeah, proper. She has human hair, which also seems to be a very common thing. Which brings us to Okiku. Have you ever heard of Okiku?
Mm-mm.
All right. There's a lot of Okiku ghost stories in Japan. It is a very traditional name. It means chrysanthemum. Uh, like Okiku in the Well is what I initially think of, which is a ghost story from Himeji Castle in southern Japan, and that is the origin of the ring ghost. The ring
Mm-hmm.
ghost is based off of Okiku from Himeji Castle. This is a
Okay.
different Okiku. So Okiku is a porcelain doll who is approximately 107 years old and grows human hair,
Wow.
has a mouth that has been slowly opening, and is possessed by the spirit of her former owner. So the story goes that in 1918 in Hokkaido, Japan, 17-year-old Eki- Ikichi Suzuki finds a darling porcelain doll decked out in a furusode kimono for his 2-year-old sister Okiku, or just Kiku. Okiku took to the doll immediately, and the two became inseparable during playtime, mealtime, and even bedtime. Sadly, in 1919, a yellow fever outbreak sweeps northern Japan, and Okiku passes away due to the illness, still holding on to her doll doppelganger.
Oh.
Aw.
After Okiku's funeral rites are complete, the family places the doll in the family Buddhist altar, known as a butsudan, located in the family home. It is then that paranormal happenings occur in the Suzuki home. Unexplained bangings, that was my dog, unexplained noises, phantom voices, lights going on and off, strange dreams, and many times, which a lot of this activity intensified around Okiku's birthday and her death anniversary. And in Buddhism, death anniversaries are very important. You have a full ceremony for marking different particular years. So that could, I understand where the activity would happen more then. Even more frightening, Okiku's hair started to grow. A whopping 10 inches in total grew out of this doll. So, uh, that's really amazing because she originally had just like a little bob, like that would go to her cheekbones, and now it goes all the way like halfway down her body.
Wow.
It has been reportedly tested and found to be positive for human DNA. So, in
The
19
hair?
the hair.
Okay.
In 1938, after living with this ghostly activity for nearly 20 years, the family
Wow.
decided to bring the doll to Manenji Temple in Iwamizawa City, just northeast of Sapporo. She still resides there in her own private altar. And
Is she still active? Like, does
she's
she
still
still,
active. Her hair still grows.
and
They
her mouth is
maintain
still
her.
opening?
They change her outfit. Yeah, her mouth is still opening. So according to the story, when they first brought the doll in, the doll's mouth was closed because they're traditionally painted closed.
Mm-hmm.
And as after Okiku passed away, there's been a small gap forming in her mouth, and you can start seeing teeth now. So it's very spooky.
Have they need to set up a time lapse camera in front of her.
Yeah, that would be.
Then I'd believe it.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought this was a particularly spooky story. It
How the
it
hell?
reminds me of Zashiki Warashi, which is kind of like this little child spirit that can be in a house, and people would set up little dolls for them. And the type of doll that they set up that Okiku looks like is a lot of the times how female Zashiki Warashi are said to look like, with this little bob and the long furusode is the long sleeved kimono that goes almost
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
floor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're very similar, but very spooky. Which brings us to probably the spookiest looking doll on our list besides Robert, which is Mandy, who resides at a museum in British Columbia, Canada. So she is a porcelain doll made in the 1920s in England or Germany. Mandy's haunted journey spanned 100 years, multiple generations, and finally her resting place at the Quinsell Museum in British Columbia. The family that originally owned Mandy did report uneasy feelings around her, but ultimately donated her to the museum because she was so fragile. However, as soon as she entered the museum with her intake photo, spooky stuff started happening with this doll.
Ooh.
So, what happened was when the museum took her in as a donation, they took a documentation photo of her, and then we're like, it's late, we're just going to leave for the night. So they just left the doll in the lab. The
Aw.
next day, when staff came back in, the lab had been ransacked as if some small child had had a temper tantrum, and the
Huh.
only thing that was unchanged was the doll. So that's
Wow.
pretty
Wow.
spooky to start off with.
Yeah.
A stuffed lamb toy was found on the floor outside of her locked case. This
Hmm.
is her little stuffed lamb toy the staff got her. She usually has it around her, and it's very strange that it was found outside of her containment unit.
So she can open it then.
Yeah, maybe. A visitor from Calgary attempted to record Mandy on video, but it kept failing. However, they were able to record elsewhere in the museum. Visitors have reported that Mandy's eyes have followed them as they walk around. And alone at night, developing photographs of a staff member alone at night, developing photos of Mandy in the basement lab, heard footsteps upstairs, and then his contact sheet jammed in the machine, which had never happened before. So, yet again, Mandy doesn't like photos of her being taken without essentially permission. Also, just like Annabelle, Mandy has a horror movie made about her. Unlike Annabelle, it is not as well received. And
Wasn't well made, huh?
I don't know. I've never watched it, but its Rotten Tomatoes scores are very low.
Interesting.
So those are some of the most popular dolls. A lot of them you can actually go and see. They're on display. Mandy and Okiku, both you can go visit. You can find where they are, and during open business hours, you can go say hi. If any of our listeners ever get to see one of these dolls, please send us a photo with permission asked, of course.
Oh, she creepy. I'm looking at photos of her now. She's
cracked.
She's cracked, and it looks like her skin is falling into her eye.
Ugh.
On the left, the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, she creepy.
What I really love is, as I was explaining the spooky things around Okiku and the hearing noises, one of my dogs decided to shake and smack the wall. So it sounded like something was knocking.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I was just
just now?
No, when I was reading about you'll hear it. I said something. I was reading all the things that happened around Okiku, and at one point I go, "That was my dog." That was me responding to him, Yeti smacking his tail into our wall. So any of our listeners don't get like, "Oh goodness, Okiku's gonna get cat." Nah.
No, all of my dolls most of them are stuck in a in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Because no.
I don't like dolls. And that leads us to our next topic. Why do people find dolls scary?
I'm kind of curious about that, actually.
This is, I think, the question you posed, Christina, during the Spooktacular that got us on this entire episode. So I actually found a cognitive neuroscientist at Dartmouth University who actually studied this very thing. It's about 15 years ago.
Interesting.
But it was a fascinating read. And this is Thalia Wheatley is a cognitive neuroscientist at Dartmouth, and she was interviewed by Vice News around Halloween a few years ago about her study. Her study actually has to do with newborns and how they recognize other people, but remarkably, it still works for everyone of why we find dolls freaky. And essentially, it is how our brains detect and recognize faces, and when it kind of goes awry with dolls. This has been brought to light through her investigation of how human brains discern a who from a what, which is a lingering question in neuroscience. And infants will, within 170 milliseconds, recognize a face, which is, boy, that's fast. Making humans not very picky with what we recognize as a face, however. She goes on to say 2 circles and a curve will elicit the same face response as a human's face. And this is why we sometimes see faces in inanimate objects like power outlets or colon and parentheses. And then she makes a little colon and parentheses face. Like pareidolia gets explained a lot for this, where we will literally see faces in carpeting, in the faces in the wall at Bobby Mackey's. Literally, we will see them everywhere because that's what our lizard brains do. Let's see. However, we are able to discern the difference between human and non-human faces. We must be able to discriminate faces worthy of our thoughts, feelings, and actions from false alarms that are not actually faces, Wheatley wrote in a recent paper. Otherwise, we might regard clouds, cars, houses as objects with mental life. The way our brains know the difference between a who and a what lie in our ability not only to see faces, but to know whether a face has a mind attached to it.
Wow.
And this is where their doll study came in, and I put a photo in our big document. It is probably one of the creepiest images I will show you tonight. It has 6 images of a baby, but it gets progressively, they managed to find a porcelain doll that had the same baby face, and an artist rendered it to make this baby doll morph into a human baby face.
Nice.
And yeah, and this is Looser and Wheatley 2010 Psych Science, featured in the News of the Week Science 331-19. So this is where this image was published for Science Journal. And where do you think people would say we get into the weird zone with this? I don't know if both of you can see this chart.
I'm going to say the third from the left.
Third from the left?
Fourth from the right.
Okay. How about you, Christina?
I'm going to say the fourth.
From which side?
The like going left to right, the way you read. Like the first 3, I think, look really creepy, but the fourth one looks passable.
Okay. So statistically, it's 67%. So that would be roughly where Christina is saying it's passable. That's where we hit our uncanny valley. And I agree with Christina. That's where it got a little weird for me.
Oh, I think I misunderstood.
Okay.
More
so we're all in agreement.
Yeah, the fourth one. I thought you meant from baby to doll, not doll to baby.
Oh, yeah, doll. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's where not everyone, but statistically that was the average, was at 67%. So I think we can probably put this photo up as just because we're talking about it.
Yeah,
I think so.
Would be an editorial.
Yeah, we can put it in the
and it's got in the
video. We can put it in the video.
It's documented, so
interesting. Yeah, well, and I'm illustrating a book about a puppet show right now, and puppets kind of fall in the doll thing, because they kind of look, like you said, the uncanny valley. You know, they're most puppets tend to be like, if they're humanoid. I think it's when they're humanoid. Like nobody is worried about Cookie Monster,
right?
You know, but like when you start making stuff look like people.
Yeah.
I think that, and do you think part of that's kind of folklore tradition too, with tulpas and golems and stuff like that?
I maybe that's a little bit of a thought form experiment, but I actually wasn't done with Wheatley's information. I just hadn't had time to write it down. So basically what makes it interesting, we go into an uncanny valley area because humans will look at another person, or let's say a doll, and we initially say, oh, that could be a human because it has 2 eyes and a mouth. And then we take our second look, which is a little bit longer, and we realize that those 2 eyes and a mouth are not moving. And that's when it falls into the uncanny valley, which is a dip in emotional response that happens when we encounter an entity that is almost but not quite human. And that's when we start getting freaked out, because we realize that what we're looking at is not blinking, it's just kind of staring kind of vapidly. And then especially as these faces break down, like with Mandy, then we can kind of internalize it and we think about our own faces breaking down. And this is where the psychology of why we find them creepy really kicks in.
Have you seen the baby dolls that they're very lifelike in the
Yes.
way they feel and look, and a lot of women use them to help them grieve when they've lost a child.
Yes, I have seen those.
Those are some phenomenal work,
Very good work.
but real creepy.
It's uncanny valley. It's like
Yeah.
some of the robot fetish dolls. I'm not equating these two,
Mhm.
but
No,
where
they're not. Those are not as well. I don't know.
they're getting very, very
Lifelike.
uncanny valley and lifelike now. And
Gross.
there was even a robot that was unveiled last week that can walk, albeit
Mhm.
very slowly, but
Like a human.
like a human. And they actually had to kind of take it apart, like the skin bit, to show that it wasn't a person in a suit.
Wow.
So
Ew.
you can see the pistons and everything in the legs
Yeah,
working.
just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
The other
We
thing
do
that was
not
an
need
interesting
Skynet to happen.
observation with that robot was when it was being tested in the lab, it
Mhm.
just had a flat chest because it was just a normal freaking robot. When
Mhm.
it was being shown, it had boobs. I'm
Okay,
like,
so
really?
why
You
don't you make
sculpted
a
a
male one and it have its proper
I was just
anatomy?
like, why couldn't you just sculpt? Why did you take the time and money and effort to sculpt the boobs? Just put the normal shirt on the robot and show it.
Because
We're
someone
still all
thought it
freaked
was
out.
funny and someone is probably playing with her.
It's expensive and heavy. That's all I gotta say.
Mhm.
So anyway, the uncanny valley theory dates back to 1970 with Japanese why can't I say this word? Roboticist Masahiro Mori, and is considered a major hurdle for the integration of human-like robots or androids into our societies. So, yeah, Lay's research has shown that we feel uncomfortable. This is the Vice article, that we feel uncomfortable when we see expressions on dolls, avatars, or robots that we would never encounter in nature. And the things that I found triggered that sense of unease most strongly were those faces when you've got an expression in the mouth and in the eyes that were incongruent. They don't tie up together, she says. The creepiest ones were when you have a happy smiling mouth and the eyes are angry or frightened. So there's
When
way more to this article. We'll put it in the show notes. It
Excellent, because
is
I'd like to read it.
yeah, it's a Vice article called "There's a Psychological Reason Dolls Are So Spooky," and by Shayla Love from February 15th, 2018. So, tulpas.
Fascinating.
Going back to your idea of tulpas, those are thought form projections, not necessarily dolls. So, those can be terrifying for vastly different reasons.
Yeah.
and a golem is what mystical creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a mystical creature that is created from earth and clay and brought to life. Versus a zombie.
Right, who is a dead human that comes back to
Not
life.
necessarily a dead human. Originally they weren't dead. That's a very modern take of a zombie.
Really? Do tell.
Yeah. Oh, so zombies come from we can trace it back to Haitian, but most likely African rituals of basically taking a lot of drugs and becoming a little bit out of their mind and being controlled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I've
somebody
seen it.
on a very bad trip being controlled by somebody else.
Yeah,
And
I think I've read something about something in nature that can do that to itself.
there's
or
a
to an
fungus that
egg
can do that
Is it the
to
the
ants
fungus?
and other
Okay.
insects.
Okay, it
Which
was in
is
there
what-
somewhere.
What the polyspores from The Last of Us are based off of.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But so yeah, zombies, slightly different thing.
Mhm.
They're actually a very fascinating folklore and societal study, like
Yeah.
how they actually were used before, and then how they've evolved into these mindless decomposing life forms that are
So-
chasing people for their brains.
Here's a question for you. Like, say we do get a spore or whatever that can make us into zombies. Would we be evil or bad? Would we want to eat other people? Like, I don't. How does it go from just being reanimated to eating live humans?
So I think the live human thing, what I saw referenced was, and I'm not a zombie movie person, so I'm a bad person to explain this, but it
Okay.
is from I think it's one of the Evil Dead movies. And a zombie says that eating brains helps their pain, and that it just took off from there.
I remember that line actually.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I
I'll have to
remember
watch
that
Evil
correctly.
Dead again. Like, I don't remember that.
And it's freaky because although it is not unfamiliar in human culture for cannibalism to eat human brains of the dead, there are multiple different societies that have done that. Most of them have stopped because of kuru, which is a prion disease, much like mad cow, that can affect humans. There are still some people with it that, as children, did cannibalism of the dead, and they still have the prion in their brain.
There's an X-Files episode on it.
Oh, really?
Yep. Of course
I'm
there
not
is.
surprised. I mean, it's a fascinating science thing. Most likely, if it was now I am not a biologist, I am a cartoonist. I just really like dark and morbid things and listen to a lot of science podcasts, and one of them on NPR just covered this topic, actually.
Oh, okay.
Wow, timely.
Yeah, and
It'd be nice
I'm
to have
just
a Louisville story,
reiterating
too.
what the scientists on that had to say, which was basically we would act the same as the ants from the polyspores, which is we'd get infected and then go find somewhere where the spores could release from our bodies at the best distribution point, and then just die. Yeah.
So you're just a carrier.
You're
for the
just a
spore.
carrier. You wouldn't be actually
Interesting.
actively trying to eat anything.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
one reason why zombies bother me so much is they go against decomposition in nature.
Yes,
It's the green
that was
witch
going to be
bit
my
of
next
me.
question. Yeah.
You would not, in very few circumstances, be able to be a walking zombie for more than 3 days.
Yeah.
Because you would fall apart.
Yeah.
People get gooey extremely fast.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
with-
if you don't have muscles and tendons to move the bones, but
Yeah, you're
maybe
not-
that's where the brain comes in. Maybe eating the brain helps the zombies sustain their muscles.
No, that's BS.
I know.
I'm looking
Looking for some sort of reason for it to work in a
It
fictional
has
world.
to be magic oriented to get.
We're in
these
that.
things
Just
to
that's
work.
a society we're in. You have to make something fit what you want.
Yeah,
A lot of
just-
people had issues with The Walking Dead because
Oh my
of
goodness,
that.
I was one of them. I was
Yeah.
like, in Georgia, are you serious?
They'd be dead. It wouldn't be years.
be-
They'd be dead. They'd be
Like,
gone within a month or two.
I know I saw I did not watch The Walking Dead, but I really loved the makeup and the puppetry and stuff that made the zombies move.
Mhm.
And
Those
I
were
remember
people.
they were people, and
Oh,
there was some
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
very good puppetry in this
Mhm.
case, which was practical effects where
Mhm.
they had like hands moving or like
Mhm.
a head moving or the I think it was a trained zombie that didn't have legs and
Mhm.
everything. And I'm like, that I can see that where you still have animated parts still trying to get around.
Yeah.
But even those, like,
I mean, once the
You-
muscle's gone, you can't move.
you can't move, and bugs are so good at decomposing
Yeah.
flesh
Yeah.
within hours.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, these things you would not be able to tell they were corpses because they would just be covered in this is going to be gross trigger for a moment. The amount of botfly and other maggots that would be
Yeah.
all over the bodies,
Yeah.
just
Wow.
decomposing them.
Well, yeah, it's a big old lunch buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be flies. There's a lot of beetles that eat them. Earthworms, roly polies,
Mhm.
earwigs.
They use beetles to clean the flesh off bones.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
there's just no way a zombie would actually be able to function
No.
for more than about 3 hours before
Yeah.
they would start basically, and depending on how they died, like, okay, still trigger warning. The amount of fluid that would be leaking out their ass is just immense. Like, when you die, all orifices relax
Yeah.
and you leak, and it's just
Ugh,
they're
icky.
yeah, it
Yeah.
gets icky, it gets smelly, and they would not move very fast after that happened.
Side note, shout out to Greg Nicotero and his team on The Walking Dead for the practical and special effects he did on creating those zombies. They were amazing and disgusting. And I think it was him that said it, or maybe it was the producer of the show. They had a hard time getting zombie actors as
Oh,
the show went
interesting.
on because they're supposed to be decomposing, right?
Yeah.
So they had to get really skinny people to represent the zombies that were still walking around.
Like the skeletal
Yeah.
remain.
Yeah. And they said it was pretty hard because he is a huge, Greg Nicotero, as far as I know, is a huge practical effect guy. Like,
Mhm.
he doesn't want to use I think as little as the digital stuff as possible. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
And-
love
and-
that show and the comic. I love the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
sure. I can't stand zombies.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
which is all right. Anyway,
on that note,
how did we fall so far away from dolls to zombies? And
because
then just got real
everybody-
gross at the end. I'm sorry, everyone.
Don't know.
Zombies are just always there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, they're another thing you'd look at and you see a human, but it's not, and
I
that is
mean-
terrifying.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
terrifying. And I think that uncanny valley is what we do find freaky with zombies. You're right, Jen.
Yeah.
and on that note,
All right. Thank you, everyone who shared, or you didn't share stories with us tonight. I hope you share stories with us in the future.
yeah, please do.
If you like this, I cannot read. Sorry, zombies on the brain. All right. If you like the stories that we have shared tonight and would like to follow the show, you can find us at Hometown Haunts page on Facebook, Hometown Haunts _podcast on Instagram, or on Blue Sky at hometownhaunts.bsky.social. Please leave a like and a review on the show on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify so other spooky story lovers just like yourself can find the show. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night and happy hauntings.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.